bounce back. This starting five have been playing really good basketball. Expect them to lift right here.
Yeah, might explore the mental side of this scenario a little more as we get into the action, which is underway. As the guys said, a sellout crowd. And just over a week ago, expecting this would be the one to just seal things for Brisbane heading into the finals. But now they need a massive win. And it could start from Gliddon from the outside. It isn't for all his way, and DJ Newbill can control things.
And interesting already, I don't think Cam Gliddon would have ever quick shot a ball that quickly in the first possession of the game. So clearly they're looking for more possessions. They need more possessions in this game to have a big win, or at least go down swinging.
Yeah, you can't be silly about it though all the same, can you? I think it's important early to just get in the game, I would have thought.
Well, we'll find out. Here we go. They're going quick.
They are going quick, but they've got to make some shots. Sobey came up empty that time. It's a rush fest at the moment. It's just a little sloppy.
Well, you'd expect that, but as you said, it's probably not going to be like this all game. They've obviously had a talk about it in the pre-game, and they're going to come out, and if you start hitting these shots, you can get on a roll. So they're just trying to see how hot they can get them quickly, and then try and ride that game out. So you wouldn't be surprised if this goes to the whole quarter.
Well, they started 10-0 last Friday night, didn't they, against New Zealand?
Hey, and they're two pretty good shots. They're straightaway threes for two very good shooters, and they've come up with two stops. So here we go, looking inside.
Fumble from Magnay.
So a little bit scrappy to start, but you can see the intent, especially with the Brisbane Bullets right now.
Yes, you can. Look at them up the floor. They're trying to trap everything, just trying to get as many possessions as possible. Whistled for a foul there, but it is a tough one, the mental side of it. Just because you listen to the coach, you listen to Lamanis there, you listen to Dan Shamir, you listen to Dean Vickerman, all these coaches who had the percentage, all that talk the last couple of weeks. None of them hit from it. They said all the teams talks about, obviously, but when you come out to play, it's a different style, because not only do you want to win, but then you realise a certain amount you have to win by.
It was interesting hearing Jason Kadee talk about what's happened last weekend. He still thought they were playing good basketball last weekend, but came up without a win and really dented their finals chances. Sobey takes it all the way through and then just turns around, gets a nice open look. No one's got the feel yet. And down he goes. Matty Hodgson made sure of that.
I think that might be Matty Hodgson's game plan tonight. If they're going to quick shoot it, just go and chase offensive glass and have a monster game in that capacity.
Oliver getting creative, and now we have the score. Jarek firing the first three successfully for Cairns. Addison. Hodgson again. He has the best field goal percentage in the league both this year and last. And he draws a foul on this occasion.
Well, it's going to be an interesting game for Cairns. I talk about they have to bounce back. They were a little bit disappointing in the final stretches against Melbourne United. Hodgie here with a nice cleanup, which has been doing very well recently. But you want to be playing your best basketball leading into the finals. So Cairns want to find their rhythm back. They want to make sure that they have everything down packed. Obviously, there's a 10-day break, but as we've seen Matt Hodgson at the line, coming up short on this one.
Well, you've got an interesting stat on Matty Hodgson. I know we'll talk about a little bit later on, but I was intrigued with Mike Kelly's comments before the game. You know, he says he's going to attack this one and find out, but he's only in his second year as a head coach. He mentioned that he's not the Perth Wildcat. They haven't done this year after year with the group, so they are going to be looking to learn tonight. And again, they get a Brisbane Bullets team playing a different style of basketball than what they would have scouted for. So a really good test, especially for the Cairns Taipans younger players. You know, you're talking Murko Jerick, you're talking Kwat Noi, guys who haven't maybe experienced this type of game before.
Quick steps there from Deng. He's penalised the travel, so it's low scoring to start with. Magnay's got a bit of a wind up there, and he wasn't quite sure what to do when he arrived. Still, the scoring drought continues, and it's a little sloppy at both ends. Great season for DJ Newbill, as it has been for most of these Cairns Taipans. Oliver has it snatched away from him straight away, though. Gliddon on the move. Can they settle into some rhythm here? They just need one big ball to go down from outside, and who knows what might get started. That's about the only way they're scoring at the moment.
The Brisbane Bullets are going to live and die by the early three and the early attack on the rim. This is going to be a fun game to watch.
Oh, Cairns. I wonder how long it'll be before we see a timeout from either coach at the moment. Cairns just need to settle here and get a good set going. And there's an open path to the basket for Newbill. Floats it in for two. It's all tied up. Good find from Gliddon to Sobey.
That is an extremely good pass. Left hand off the bounce. Not many players, I think, can make that pass. It's just a sign of Cam Gliddon's ability and probably why we're a little bit disappointed. There is why Will Magnay's going to go to the Golden State Warriors. How about that?
Great stuff from the big guys at both ends for Brisbane. And the sellout crowd are on their feet. As the timeout was called, it's 9-5. The Bullets are off and running. 4 points in front, only another 30 to go.
Hey, well, I'll tell you what, the Bullets have absolutely disrupted the Cairns Taipans. They've shot it early, but defensively they've been really good and no better play than that. Met it right at the top. Kick ahead pass down to Matty Hodgson, who flushed it for another two, and Cairns call the first time out.
Well, we've been speaking a lot about the mental side of trying to get to the finals. So I want to get your thoughts after this, after we listen to Lamanis, about what would be going through Will Magnay's head. But we'll listen to Lamanis here, and I'm interested to see what he's saying.
It gets back to Derek, or it goes back to one of their bigs, sends it straight in the pack. We're denying everybody else. All right. On this play, once we get down the other end, we'll blitz Machado or Newball if they come off a handoff or an on ball on this one play. Newball, that's just one play. Okay. Offensively, get it, like keep running, like, and on those early ones, if you're coming down one-on-one, fucking get to the rim and get a layup, all right, and then we can go ahead. Because we're shooting threes, guys are going to be prepared to rebound earlier than we're normally used to rebounding. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
I love the timeout and a little bit of a glimpse. We heard about the shooting threes and the game plan offensively, but defensively you heard, I'm going to assume it's Deng. When Deng catches the ball, everybody else is in denial. They're going to look to make Deng play one-on-one and do something that the Taipans aren't ordinarily used to doing. So they're going to encourage, or it might be Mirko, I'm not sure. It might be Mirko they allow to play one-on-one, but expect full denial across 4 players when one of Cairns' lowest scoring threats catches the ball.
Deng's athleticism was about to be sent out of there, but whistle had blown already.
You see the way the Bullets are playing, it's taking Cairns out of, Cairns play fast, but it's taking them out of how they used to do. And you said they would have scouted them, and it's all going out the window now because you'd expect them to have put up this pressure, but the way the Bullets are playing now, they have to play this way. They know they have to put up points and put them up big.
And if you're going to go down swinging.
Yep.
Take a shot at it. They haven't found a way to blow out a game this year. They might as well try something different and, as I said, go down swinging. But you asked me about Will Magnay before. His Cam Gliddon lines up for another early 3 and knocks it down and grows that lead out to 5. But I think he would be feeling better than what he was the last couple of weeks. And just speaking from experience, which is all I can do, I was absolutely packing myself. Every time I looked in the stand and saw an NBA folder, I got nervous as I was evaluating everything I did, and no doubt that young man would have thought the same thing. The minute they went away, the minute I got drafted, I played with a sense of freedom that I hadn't had in months. So hopefully Will Magnay has that sort of a night tonight and we see him have a big one.
Just 1 of 4 for each team so far from outside. Sobey in a rush, drew some contact. Made the basket. Brisbane have made the start there after here. It's out to a 7-point lead.
Well, you heard Lamanis in the timeout saying that it's mainly in transition when you get a one-on-one, but half-court offense was almost set there. Nathan Sobey just put his head down and attacked, and that's what he's there for. He's there to do all that kind of stuff, and that's great energy from him.
I've said all along, size, speed and space are the hardest thing to guard. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Let's say Brisbane is successful in doing this. It makes you question, do they continue doing it in the finals? If they make the finals, or in fact, does this become what the Brisbane Bullets do, and is this how Andre Lamanis looks to coach part of the time moving forward? It's fascinating.
Well, Deng was set, and he revised his decision at the last possible moment. Shot clock down to 5. Newbill, 1 extra pass. Jarek also makes another late pass, and Deng makes good underneath. Tight contested shot, and he's done well. Everything's in a rush for Brisbane at the moment. With the extra pass out to Gliddon. He's filled it up twice, and they're hot here, the Bullets.
Take 3 instead of 2 on the wide open layup, hey?
Oh, it's an exciting start, isn't it?
It's fascinating to see how different a style of basketball the Brisbane Bullets are playing.
Well, Lamanis has done in years past where he junks it up and likes to get up the floor one possession, trap at half court the next, but as you said, they're leaving nothing to chance. They're going out and going after us, and rightly so. And actually, it's working right now. And we came in, they took those first 2 3 balls, missed them, but they haven't taken a backward step, and they're taking Cairns out of what Cairns want to do.
That man Gliddon obviously is going to be important, as will Jason Cadee now that he's out on the floor, if it's going to be generated from outside.
And even that, the Cam Oliver 3 early in the shot clock's not a shot that the Taipans would sit on as they hit another 3 from the corner.
Sophie had 30 last Friday night, his career season high, I should say. And he's joined the party. 21-9. This Cairns team have won 9 out of their last 11. Of course, they lost Thursday night to Melbourne. They're losing the ball at the moment. Cadee, he won't hesitate. Sound effects provided by the sellout crowd. Imagine if that had gone down.
It's funny, is that we're almost in here cheering these early 3s down because it is so different and fun to watch.
And there's a travel. Nothing going the way of the Taipans.
The steal the possession before, the players, the Brisbane Bullets have freedom to do whatever they want, to run and double, to jump in the lanes, because they know they're just trying to, even on a made basket from Cairns, they're running down the other end. And as we said, Cam Oliver, a little bit of happy feet there. But I tell you what, if you're a Brisbane Bullets player, anyone down the roster, this is going to be like an ice hockey game. As soon as you're tired, you're out, a fresh leg is in, because we're trapping, double teaming every single time. So be ready to play all the time.
Hey, and defensively taking some chances and running and jumping as another 3 goes down for the Bullets. 7 Cairns Taipans turnovers already in the first 6 minutes of basketball.
EJ Singler, who's averaged 42% from the three-point area during the year, he also adds a triple, and it's out to 15 points, and Cairns are really stressing under the pressure. And that one rattles in and out, and everything going Brisbane's way at the moment.
Going up.
Cadee. There it goes, and there it goes!
Wow.
They might do it in a quarter the way they're going. This is astonishing. 3 minutes to go. Oliver, he misses as well.
Off they go again.
And now Braun.
This is going up early too.
Gliddon. And just
Good
sitting
pass.
under the basket, Singler. And surely.
The Cairns Taipans do not know what's hit them. It's been a tidal wave of blue at Brisbane Bullets that we have not seen all year long.
Look at the fans on their feet.
But it also begs the question, where has this been?
Let's get to Cam.
Well, guys, it's been raucous down here. This crowd is going wild courtside, but I'm more interested in the Cairns Taipans. This is not how they play. This is not how they prepare. It is usually a steady diet, 80 to 85% of Scott Machado off a middle pick and roll, and he feeds the mouths. It's essentially jungle ball for all these other players. They're just whipping it around, getting shots from where they don't normally get them. This is Mike Kelly's second time out of the first quarter, and he's got some work to do, boys, to get some continuity at the offensive end and beat this pressure of Brisbane. Guys?
Contest it, okay? Get to the rim. If we swing it through, we're just in trans reverse. Trans reverse, get it moving, and again, attack and take care of the ball, okay? We got about 7 turnovers. We don't have those, and we're okay going the other way. Defensively now, Red Cadee, once he goes backwards, get out of there, okay? We're greening with Singler, greening with Singler. Here we go. Stop there. Here we go.
Well, this is just stunning. They're out to 20 points. If you've just joined us, they need 34 points as the main target, and then they'll need Melbourne United to lose, but 34 points. They're on a 20-2 scoring run. I mean, there'll come a time in this game where it'll slow down, but it'll be interesting to see what their approach is.
Fascinating, and we wonder how sustainable this style of play is, and so far so good. But as you say, to carry on this level of intent and aggressiveness at both ends of the floor for 40 minutes is difficult. Another turnover, number 8 for the Cairns Taipans.
It's been a massive problem for them when they haven't played their best basketball. Cadee! He can't shoot the 3 that time.
There is nothing better as a player, Pete, than knowing that you can shoot it any time you want without fear of getting told off by the coach.
No, you're right, and you're seeing that now, and we talk about being able to sustain it. That's what I said. If you're every Brisbane Bullets player on the bench has to be ready to go. DJ Newbill with a nice little settler there, because they're going to have to do this for 40 minutes. You're going to have to stay up the floor, keep trying to cause these turnovers, because as we said, you just got to go for it, and they've started off really well. They just got to sustain it now.
Patterson hasn't played a big part in this. In fact, he hasn't scored, so you would have thought, he's their man, that if they were going to have a race to a 17-point lead, that Patterson would be pivotal, but it's come from elsewhere.
It has come from elsewhere, and it's come from the perimeter. The psychological side now, Cadee missed an open three, Patterson missed a little chippy, and Cairns hit a three. Let's see if the air just goes out of the Bullets just a touch as the Cairns Taipans steady a little bit.
Well, 2 minutes to go till quarter time, so it's a vital little period here for both teams. Kenny's out there as well, as we saw. And so he's gone to his bench. And suddenly things can change quickly.
And you know what, if you looked at the scout, I'm sure the Brisbane Bullets wouldn't have minded Krislovic shooting that one, but he's knocked it down, and a little 6-0 run for the Cairns Taipans out of the timeout.
Today, Singler, it's a big triple, which he takes. And a count of the last three from the Taipans.
They're 6 of 11 from downtown in this opening quarter. And look at that, EJ Singler just running off, just doubling, just trying to make them do anything they're not comfortable doing.
Right, make them do something different.
Clever from Cadee too, and the adrenaline was pumping, but he still made sure he made a solid pass. Magnay, who just joined us, Cam, reporting that he's going to get a 10-day stint with the Golden State Warriors in the NBA, and we didn't get your thoughts on that, Pete.
Well, it's big credit to him and how good he's been this year, but just his growth over the last couple of years, it's exceptional, and he's got such a big ceiling. But a lot of credit to Lamanis and the Brisbane Bullets as well. He threw him in the starting lineup midway through the season, and it changed the way he played. Not only that, it changed the way Lamar Patterson played, Matt Hodgson played. He grew with confidence as that went. And we saw a couple of possessions ago, he obviously had that great block, and then he just walled up. I think that's why he's a Defensive Player of the Year. Not just because of his blocks, but all the shots he challenges without blocking.
The other thing that the Brisbane Bullets coaching staff did was they gave him an absolute green light to take and then miss some three-point shots without fear of shooting another one. Another turnover by the Taipans.
A good adjustment from Braun to make the two. The full court pressure. The double teaming has been immense. Krislovic goes back the other way. And Magnay with authority and with feeling sends it out of there again.
And it's come off Krislovic's foot, so it's a Brisbane Bullets ball.
Last 45 seconds. Cairns have the ball. Noise out there on the court now. That time for Krislovic. Close to the line and over. And again, it's a Brisbane ball.
And it's a bold strategy from Krislovic. I know he's athletic as well, but Will Magnay's waiting for that kind of stuff. And I'll tell you what, you think he's happy about that? When he's got a 10-day lined up, he's going to be even more hyped after every play like that.
As Lamar Patterson gets to the line, just another point on Will Magnay. He's going to a Golden State Warriors team missing Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. Starting next season, they're going to have spent about $130-odd million on their best four players, if you include Draymond Green in that. They need to sign players to minimum contracts, and they need role-playing big men. So it's a perfect situation, and if he can find a way to stick around for another 10-day, who knows what next year might look like for Will Magnay. Very, very exciting times for the young fella.
What's your fit? What's your fit?
Well, suddenly it's exciting for Brisbane here. We talked about how it's a miracle is what they need today to play in the finals, and then again tomorrow, but they've got 21 points out of the 34 they need to be a chance and still be alive, and they've got it on the back of this intense full court pressure and some big shots at the other end. Big Nate's been in good form of late.
And we talk about on the Cairns Taipan side after losing to Melbourne United, saying they have to bounce back. This game is ultra important for a guy like Scott Machado. You are the leader and point guard of this team, and you've led from start to finish this year. It's going to be up to a lot of pressure on him to settle them down, to make sure they can just get through their stuff, look after the ball. And he hasn't taken a shot yet, or got a rebound, or
had
an
an assist.
He's got 3 turnovers. So I think he'll play his way into the game to see another turnover force there.
It's been a horror opening quarter for the Cairns Taipans, and it's been fully capitalised by the Brisbane Bullets. A stunning opening term. They are 38 points and about to get one more. About to get one more as Sobey goes to the line with the N1.
as much as the Brisbane Bullets coaching staff would have come up with this game plan for the reason to win big, and the players would have bought in, they could not have possibly imagined having such great success in one quarter of basketball.
Well, this is huge because now this goes into Cairns' mind, because Cairns know exactly what the Bullets have to try and reach. So that starts weighing on their head of, we've got off to this real poor start and Brisbane aren't going to let up.
It can work the other way a bit,
Exactly
though, too.
right.
If Brisbane get there early, it'll be way earlier than they expected.
Right.
So it's such a mental game. That's why we love sport so much.
The final interesting part becomes, if you are Mike Kelly and the Cairns Taipans, as much as he wanted some pressure games into his players, if he falls down 30, he might choose to rest his stars to make sure they are ready and don't get hurt. So a lot more to play out in this game.
And that is all we'll have. What an opening quarter. The Brisbane Bullets 39 lead, Cairns 15. And that miracle is very much still alive. By any team, not just by the Bullets. So they are well and truly firing. And it's not, we've talked about them getting to 34 points, but they don't want to stop there, do they? Because they'll be on the same points as Melbourne if they win.
They need more of the same, and they want to see if what they're doing is sustainable. They couldn't have wished for a better first quarter, and let's see. Cairns have had the ability to take a breath and reset. A little bit more structure down the Cairns Taipans end.
More hands on the ball. They work it into Deng. Again, he was right in the face there, Magnay, but that's a good tough.
And just not quite the same bite in the Brisbane Bullets defensive possession that one time.
Well, you're right, and Cairns got through an offense. You see how successful they can be, but it was the one time the Bullets haven't run a trap or anything like that.
Got a quick shot away here, but a great find again with Magnay. Into the Kadee hands.
We see Ruben Tarangi, and this is what he's going to do. He's going to run and trap at random times. That's what he's done the last couple of years for Lemanis.
We were having a little chat off air there, Chris, just about how exciting the game is when it's played this way and how effective it can be.
Well, the point being, of course, to make a team beat you in a way that they're not accustomed to winning games. The Cairns Taipans are accustomed to winning games, with Scott Machado running the show, with Cam Oliver getting his inside-out touches, with Majuk Deng getting his threes at the end of the shot clock, not early on. So different guys are handling the ball early in the shot clock for the Cairns Taipans, and they're out of sync.
Well, we said that the Taipans wouldn't have scouted for this, but they should know that there would have been full court pressure and stuff like that because of what Brisbane had to do. So you should have your press breaker ready to go. But it's just the randomness of these traps. And Lemanis has done it for like straight after halftime, or in particular after a timeout for years. But now he's doing it, giving guys free reign to just do it whenever they want, and it's working. They've caused 11 turnovers.
And it's interesting that they haven't come out. They trapped Jared Kenny once, but chose not to. I think it's Machado, and I think it's Newble that they're choosing to trap. Now that those guys aren't in the game, it's a more standard type of defense. So for me, far be it for me to provide any advice based on how great these guys are going, but they might want to stick to the same. Go ahead and trap Kenny. Go ahead and trap any point guard who's carrying the ball and continue that aggressive defensive mindset.
Machado has 3 fouls already. Let's get to Cam.
Yeah, guys, you normally come to me for some sideline comments, but I've actually got a question for Chris Anstey, the great of our game and a former NBL head coach. With Scott Machado on 3 fouls, and this game essentially meaning nothing to Cairns, he's probably going to sit most of this second quarter, all through half-time. Coach, is he done for the night? Do you just put him on ice in a game that doesn't mean much, or do you sit him for, probably the next 20 minutes of real time and dust him off in the third quarter, Coach?
Very, very short-lived coaching stints, as you can go ahead and say, Chris, but I don't know, and that's one that Mike Kelly will figure out. In everything he said pre-game, you would think that they want to continue to get minutes in the Machado, work on some of the things they think they might need round 1 of the final. So I don't see Mike Kelly as the type of coach to put the cue in the rack and rest guys. Like you said, they're not Perth. They haven't been there for years and years before. They're doing this for the first time and would love to hit the NBL final series in some good form.
And there is a break, isn't there, too, before the finals?
Yeah, there's a FIBA break, but look at the way the Cairns Taipans play quick. They play exciting basketball. Mirko Jeric is shooting that any other game, but right now they're trying to take the pace fully out of this game because it's just playing into the Bullets' hands. And Lamar Patterson, if you get that call as you pick the ball up, you've got to throw that at the rim, even if you've got no chance.
Just sure do, especially
to
tonight. Especially tonight.
but 12 turnovers for the Cairns Taipans, and that's all credit, maybe bar one, which was a sloppy pass by Blagojevic. Krislovic. All credit to the Bullets for causing that.
Well, it's 12-2, put in context, the turnovers. It's astonishing. Kenny with the double team, and look at that, just throws it away.
Well, Brisbane aren't passing the ball. That's why they're not turning the ball over. I'll tell you what, Andrew Parkinson, everybody loves Parky, and he's one of the guys that I grew up. He was one of the best shooters in the history of the NBL. He would always tell us that a missed shot is better than the turnover, and that is exactly the creed that the Brisbane Bullets are playing tonight. They are going to get shots up and not even give turning the ball over a chance.
Wasn't giving that a chance. Slapped it away, and even then they made that up a bit as they were going along in the travel.
No.
No. Foul call.
It looked like a travel, didn't it?
Well, I think he got it in his gather, but you wouldn't have seen that. But Scott Machado pretty much subbed himself in that last play after the Jared Kenny turnover, but Cam Oliver. That might have been, though, on Sobe Chris, but after the... oh, yeah, well...
I think he got away with one.
But Scott Machado came back in the game after the turnover because they're getting pressured up the floor, and every other Cairns Taipans player was hiding in the corners or underneath the rim. When a team trapping you randomly, you've got to be prepared to find a nice free avenue to get the ball. You can't run away from the ball because you leave Kenny out on an island, and
So how far up the court do you come if you're...
Well, you need to have someone down the middle and someone on either side just so you can get some avenue away from the point guard. You see, Machado has 3 turnovers already. Cam Oliver has 4 as well. Those 2 when they bring it up in the backcourt.
Well, of course, the other way to do, and a lot of coaches are doing these days, is to actually have Machado take the ball out, inbound it to DJ Newble. If they trap the first pass, it ends up back in Machado's hand in the backcourt, and the trap's already happened. Otherwise, DJ Newble can get the team into their offense and instigate.
Patterson getting in on the act now, entertaining the crowd and getting Brisbane back to a 24-point advantage. Jock Dang protects the ball well until the very end. Matty Hodgson was there ready and waiting.
Well, I'll tell you another thing that you can do to stop that full court pressure and the traps is get stops. If you get stops, they can't set up a little trap. They can't have all those little random double teams. And right now, the Bullets are 17 of 31 from the field, and they're just taking the ball out of the basket and letting them set up.
Newbill issuing orders and getting the ball moving through Jarek's hand. Back to Newbill again. Shot clock becomes a factor. Newbill did well to get where he got, and he can't make the points. Fight was good from Deng. Kept it alive. And now the foul is called.
Now, that's a play that's going to hurt Brisbane a little bit. The way they've been playing, they've come up with everything that resembled a loose ball. They'll be a little bit disappointed they didn't come up with that. That's a stop waiting to happen and a fast break and an early shot again. But great job, Cairns Taipans came up with a loose ball and got themselves to the free throw line.
Majuk Deng has been the one guy for Cairns right now who's lifting to the moment. He's got 9 points, but you see him there. Offensive rebound, first on the floor. He's someone who's trying to really just settle down, put some points on the board, but they're going to need some more as we have a look here. They're going to have a look for a potential upgrade in case they weren't looking at the ball when you had to swipe down. But what a start from the Bullets.
This is what this game doesn't need. It's been played quickly. It's been played in the right spirit. It's been played aggressively. Give him his 2 shots. Let's move on. As they're figuring this out, you mentioned Scott Machado sitting till at least half-time and then called him coming back into the game. Mike Kelly's gone the other way. He might want to get his minutes into Machado one way or another. Whether they're now or whether at the end of the game might not bother him too much. Ooh.
Loose 6, hands.
Regular foul, Dean. The Cairns have beaten Brisbane in 6 of their last 8 games.
Let's go, guys. 2 shots, line up. Normal foul.
Is it a common foul or is it a
Just
it was normal because he may look
2
excessive.
shots.
So it's Oliver goes to the line. There's 3 rebounds tonight. Just 2 points up until now. That's the first.
But I'll tell you what else this does. We talked about all the possible scenarios and all of this. The Perth Wildcats, when you go back and watch this tape, knowing that they're going to be your first finals matchup. You get a little bit in your head of what can we do to take the Cairns Taipans out of what they do best.
And they've got Damien Martin sitting at the front of anything they do defensively, so it's well within their scope to be able to play defense up the court like the Brisbane Bullets have tonight. And I'll tell you what, I would love to see Cam Gliddon play with this type of aggressive mindset every single game. He shoots the ball fantastically well. We saw him make that fantastic left-hand pass off his hip earlier on. Too often for me, he lets the game come to him a little bit too much. I'd love to see him go and attack the game like he has tonight. He's been fantastic.
Well, his last 5 games, 5, 6, 1, 0 and 6. Last year he scored 397 points. He had 81 free throws. This season, 166 points going into today and 10 free throws, which goes to what you're saying.
Yeah, and he's played under 10 minutes tonight. He's got his 12 points. He's shot the ball 6 times already, but he has not considered passing the ball a number of times. He's caught it. He has just let that thing fly. And we saw it with the very first possession of the game. It was a straightaway 3 that he missed, and he just kept shooting, which I think is fantastic from him.
The game has settled a little, but the lead is still very much on track here as far as the Bullets are concerned. Oliver goes for the triple against the buzzer. Again, it's a Brisbane ball. Braun. Singler ready and waiting. And Hodgson in the right spot to complete the play, but he can't.
So the tempo's slowed down a little bit. Fatigue's kicking in for both teams. They've been up and down. It's been a track meet. Brisbane have done a great job of maintaining that quarter-time lead. They haven't let Cairns eat into it, but a really important couple of minutes coming up right now.
Dang, Newbill looked good out of the fingers.
I got 6 blue pushing on the back.
I've got 0. He pushed the blue guy.
Ooh. So
we have
dispute as to...
So one referee saw Matty Hodgson push in the back, and another referee, I think, come in and said that Matty Hodgson got pushed in the back.
Yes, and then they've gone on Oliver. And it looked like from the start, it looked like Oliver, the other two were in a view to see Matt Hodgson first. So, but look at that, Matt Hodgson, 7 rebounds. They've got 14 assists as a team.
And that's how we want referees to communicate and make sure they got it right. So here we go.
Well, they're both probably there. It was a matter of which one was first on that one. So I think it could have gone either way.
Singler to Braun. Sobey, just a fraction short, but it matters little. It's 2 instead of 3. They're all playing their part, aren't they, for Brisbane? Braun and Singler have come off the bench and given them something.
And the other thing it does when you're shooting early, deep threes, it's really hard to go and box out players who get a sprint at the offensive glass. So we've seen the Bullets attack, and they've been able to get a bunch of second chance opportunity points, but important settler again here. We feel like every time the Cairns Taipans score, it settles the game just a little bit.
Bullets clearly agitated by that call.
So we've got the and one here, and Cam Oliver will get to the free throw line. Not what the Brisbane Bullets want is a technical foul on Nathan Sobey, having a chat to the referee.
So we see there, the foul was on Singler first before he ran into Taylor Braun. So they've called the foul in the and one, and then Nathan Sobey's not happy about that and gets teed up as well. But a little bit of momentum shift here for Cairns. Can they capitalise on it?
I guess logic says it was going to happen at some stage. It's just by how much and whether Brisbane can get back on track.
You would hate to miss out and win this one by 1 point less than what you need to, wouldn't you? For it to give away a point that you might not need to. Hey, but at the same time, oftentimes we see teams bounce back after they give away a technical foul, so maybe it might just be another re-injection of energy for this Bullets group.
Machado has his first points of the night, but it still sits at 24. Sobey. Bomb from Singler, and that's what it was in the end, a bomb.
Good look.
Oh, look at it, just around the ring it goes and in for 2 more. Passing outstanding for Brisbane. It's out to 26 points now. Gang feeling the pressure. Extra pass is good and up and over the top, and Oliver stares them down with 2 big points.
And told Will Magnay, told Krislovich about it before. Cam Oliver told Will Magnay about that one.
Suddenly they're doing it at both ends.
And that's 4 fouls on Scott Machado. That is massive.
You want to be careful here if you're Machado. As you said, that's his 4th. You don't want to get a technical here and be sitting the rest of the game out.
Cam, as you said, points went down and then the insult afterwards.
It was a good contest, and one thing, if you're going to be an elite shot blocker like Will Magnay is clearly on his way to becoming, if he's not already, you're going to get dunked on sometimes.
Well, you saw
that's
him,
okay.
You saw him briefly just having a chat to the ref and showing that it flex, and maybe he didn't like that from Cam Oliver, but that's what you want to see. If you can give it to him when you block him, if you're going to get dunked on, he's going to get excited about it as well, and you want that.
Sure.
But look, have a look at the shot chart. It started in the first 30 seconds. They took 2 real quick early threes. Now they're 8 of 18 from downtown, but Cam Gliddon himself, 4 of 6 from downtown. They are just playing fast and they're playing fun.
It felt like they'd shot a lot more three-pointers than that. I was starting to look at league records and wonder what the most amount of three-points attempted in the 20-minute era had been, but only 18, but at a good clip.
But the other thing that shot chart showed was it was all out or all in, wasn't it? So many shots taken from good positions right under the basket, as well as the ones from outside.
And that's modern basketball. It's at the rim or it's behind the 3. The mid-range 2 in a lot of people's minds is becoming obsolete. I think it'll come back. There's going to be a requirement to be elite at shooting that mid-range 2, because that's what most professional teams will give you defensively these days. So you need to be able to hit it, but the preference for an offensive team now is to shoot the 3 or get on the rim.
Here are the top scorers. It's a great spread as far as Brisbane is concerned. 3 players already in double figures. As we said, Cam Gliddon, whose offensive contribution has been well down this year to last. He's having a terrific night. And on the boards, Hodgson and Magnay leading the way again. Hodgson has been fouled out his last 4 games in a row. So, good news for him is he's stayed out of foul trouble so far tonight, only given up 1 foul.
So they've called that as a block on Cam Gliddon, not as a charge on Scott Machado. We got that one wrong before the timeout.
And I do like that. I don't like when people jump in transition in front of you, especially when you're not even looking at the time. So, yeah, we did get that one wrong, and that helps. That would have been his 4th.
Sure would have.
But I tell you what, even though he had a few words to say, you got away with one a little bit with a potential of going the other way. You don't want to just ruin that by getting a technical.
Absolutely.
Got out to 26. It's now 22 is the margin. Still plenty to play in the second quarter. Gliddon fires and misses. So Cairns have been able to stay on level terms with Brisbane in this second term. Oliver, there's one of the mid-range you're talking about. Knocks it down, and it's back to 20 points now. Oliver into double figures. Kadee. Backs off. Well worked again. Gliddon makes the 2 this time.
Good pass, good cut. That's one thing if you're shooting the 3 ball well, it'll do is open up back cut.
Oh! Watch out.
You thought we weren't going to have a fun game tonight. That one is bigger than his last one. Cam Oliver.
Oh, my.
Hey, if you're going to go up and try to get this.
Speaking of big, Kadee from downtown, and it's back to 23 points. Machado weaves a bit of magic. Right. Tips it in.
I'm not sure who's in charge of the highlight packages or picking our OMG moment tonight, but someone's got a tough job.
Magnay mixes it up. Drives for 2. Extended pressure. Almost forced another turn.
You've got to see the replay of that. You could see it in his eyes from the moment he caught it. Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
If you're a photographer under the rim, find out Cam Oliver's email ASAP and give him that.
Is it too late to get a photo of the year for the awards night tomorrow night? That would be some sort of photo.
Year. There's been some phenomenal dunks, but not only did he cock that back, from where he took that off, and if you look at the replay again with later on, It looked like he was just staring down the baseline before he took off. He knew exactly what he's going to do. But what an athlete and what a player he has been this year.
And what a contest at the rim. Again, good job by Will Magnay. A lot of players get out of that one, don't want to be put on a poster and don't contest at the rim when they see a guy set his feet. Good on Will Magnay for contesting it. Comes up with an incredible highlight for the league.
Well, that's been one of my favourite parts about Will Magnay is he's not afraid to get dunked on because he backs himself to win those contests more often than not. And the fact of the matter is, if you're a big man who's a shot blocker, an athletic shot blocker, you're going to get dunked on.
Sure.
But he knows he's going to have another look at it here and have a look at it. He's just staring and then, my goodness.
He actually got a little bit of it and his momentum continued it through. He almost took Magnay's hand and put it in the rim as well.
Oliver averaging 17 points and 7 rebounds this year. So Cairns have changed the trajectory a little of this game. Not quite going as swimmingly as it was for Brisbane. It's back to 21 points. Nate drew some no foul and no points right there. Instead, it's going to be shots for Brisbane.
And you rarely see Mike Kelly getting that worked up to lead. He's had a couple of technicals this year, but it's not who he is. So you know he's upset about something there. It did look like Nate took a fair whack on that one.
It did.
But it just seemed like Cairns was slowly starting to get back into a rhythm. Not necessarily into this game. They're still down 21, but starting to find a rhythm they didn't find in that first quarter.
Well, they've outscored Brisbane by 3 and they've started pegging it back. And if you put yourself back in the Brisbane Bullets camp, you know, they haven't been able to grow the lead. They haven't got it closer to 30. It's a big moment. So just, again, a couple of minutes before half-time, Brisbane have a chance to reevaluate, get going quick again, knock down a couple of threes and try to come up with some stops. But you can see that the Cairns Taipans are flustered.
Tech called on Mike Kelly. Now Kiddy runs the floor, steps back. Magnay tried to resuscitate, but it's come off his hands, and there's a minute 44 to go in this first half, a dramatic first half.
And Cairns are doing a much better job of guarding the three-point shot now. They didn't have the scout at the start. They know it now. If you have a look at the quality of three-point shot that the Brisbane Bullets are taking, a lot more contested threes now and threes off a dribble than what they were shooting at the start when they were just catch and shoot.
Work their way all the way around and then back under again. Whose hands that come off? I think Brisbane. There's only 6 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Magnay sits down. Kenny with the inbound. Almost got away. Boy, brilliantly done. There's 2 points. And it's back to 20 now.
And I'm sure the way that the Bullets have come out playing this game has changed the way Mike Kelly wanted to get Kouat Noi some more game time, get him back playing, because they need him to get some of that, his feet back under him and starting to go towards finals.
Just 9 games. They won 8 of them.
Well, who's that to?
Question. Hodgson also saying maybe just settle down at the right pass. Led by 23 at quarter time. Sobey, instant shot, and it fell Hodgson's way. His mind was on the job. He reacted quickest of all. He's having a big night. 8 rebounds from Matty Hodgson, as well as 9 points.
Well, he's got 4 offensive rebounds. We saw a couple of weeks ago against Melbourne United, he had 8 or 9 offensive rebounds and just finds himself in the right spot.
Especially when he knows he's not going to get a post touch tonight.
No.
All he has to worry about is screening and rebounding.
Probably the one game he could tee off himself at least once.
It'd be good to see Hodgie Light get his feet behind the 3 and knock one down later on.
Kenny to operate, unencumbered here. He passed it off anyway to Deng.
Tough shot.
Quickly in.
Such good length on that pull-up. Once he gets to a position, he's hard to block. He's got such good length and high release on his jump shot.
Listen, Sobey. Last 15 seconds of the first half. Can they finish it? With a big No, well, they can't. A big play. Instead, it's Krislovic who gets the opportunity, and he made sure of it. It's under 20 points now. And the clock about to expire. There is time. No, there's not. So half-time, the lead has been cut from 23 back to 18. Nonetheless, Brisbane had the foundation here.
It's going your way, that's for sure.
Good luck for the next half.
Thanks, Candy. So can they repeat what they did at the start, or is it the fact that Cairns now know what the tactics will be, and so it's a little different?
It's a little bit of both, but you heard Lamanis there. The key is fresh bodies. To be able to do it, you want to keep subs rotating, kind of like an ice hockey game. Try and get fresh bodies in so you can keep that up-tempo energy on defence, but you think Cairns had a massive chat at halftime about how to combat it.
It's one thing being fresh and having all the bodies rotating, but sometimes those bodies can't score like the bodies that came in that were on the floor in the starting five. But
just the early roll of the dice and the early way the cookie crumbles here is going to be interesting, isn't it? Like a few shots go down and anything's possible, but some misses, and we all know how that can change the run of things in sport.
The other thing that could become fascinating is Cam Gliddon gets a fingertip and comes up with a big defensive play that if Brisbane do miss a few early, and that's going to help a lot, but if they do miss a few early, they're going to probably take enough, inverted commas, bad shots to let the Cairns Taipans all the way back into the game. So,
but it is all or nothing for them.
And it is. It's all or nothing. Brisbane don't mind whether if they're not going to win by 34, whether they win or lose, that they're going to go down shooting the ball early and shooting the ball often.
Just the second foul for Oliver. And Sobey is pumped. Let's get back down to Candy.
A bit of unfortunate news here as the team came back out after that half-time. We saw Will Magnay with his knee iced up. It appeared to be his knee. It's actually his thigh. They think he might have a strain. They will be doing a bit more research in the coming days, but for now they've got him iced up and he's actually out for the rest of the game, which is a bit of a shame tonight, given he is a bit of a star.
Yeah, it's a big shame and it's big news. So what a dramatic day it's been so far, and it's far from over yet. A couple of misses early too in this third quarter for Cairns. Patterson, what sort of second half is he going to produce? Wants to go reverse. A couple of early fouls against Cairns. That sends Patterson to the line.
Tell you what, if I'm Will Magnay and Will Magnay's agent, I'm probably not that happy that got out. He's going over to the Golden State Warriors in a couple of days. Your thigh's not going to be too bad that you can't pick up a 10-day contract.
Well, I think what it does right now for this game is it's going to bring in a four-man shooter. I think that's what it's going to do, and you're going to be able to spread the floor, and as we've seen, the Brisbane Bullets tee off. So it's going to bring in guys like Taylor Braun, EJ Singler, Ruben Tarangi playing a bit out of position, but can do that catch-and-shoot three and try and run this score up.
Yeah, and probably a little bit better and more adept at trapping the ball on the perimeter, rotating more quickly and getting out to shooters. And Cairns Taipans, all of a sudden, their advantage outside of Matty Hodgson defensively becomes getting at the front of the rim.
Back to 22 points now. Newbill assesses. Shot clock in single figures. Big arms of Hodgson. Newbill gets past them. Deng steps left and shoots pure.
Good patience by Majuk Deng. Saw Matty Hodgson flying at him out the side of his eye. Just that nice little sidestep three as Sobey unloads and knocks down another big three, so they keep putting points on the board.
A massive three, and Sobey up to 17 points. Is he going to be the pivotal player in this second half?
Feels like he's going to try to be.
Yeah. And in some ways it would be a real coming of age for him. He's a key player already, but if he could lead them, that would be a really significant achievement for Nathan Sobey.
And you look down the list, and Cam Gliddon shot the ball 8 times, but Sobey's the only guy in double figures. It just feels like he's going to take it upon himself, and he's the guy advancing the ball down the floor, so he's got the ball in his hands, and first opportunity to shoot it in this system.
Machado steps over.
Great defense again by the Bullets. It's the absolute best place to trap the ball in a game of basketball. There's nowhere to go.
Well, I was going to say the opposite by Cairns. Don't run there because it is the worst spot to run to. And as you see, Machado stepped out there first. Couldn't see with the court side people sitting there, but that's his 5th turnover tonight.
Oh, Hutchinson wasn't quite expecting that from Patterson. We're back at 22, and again the pressure is extended. Machado hurls it down. Jerick well set. And they had good support under the rim.
Too much length at the front of the rim.
It's back to 20 again, and it seems like this early 20s is a bit of a barrier for Brisbane. Sobey.
Charge.
Illegal screen. Matty Hodgson, second foul. And they're all critical.
It's a really tricky one. Sometimes a defender will run into the side of a screen, and whether they move a touch or don't move, if a defender comes off a little bit sideways, visually it doesn't look great, but unlucky there for Matty Hodgson. Probably just rewards there as Cam Gliddon knocks down the three and makes up for possibly what Nathan Sobey would have done from the free throw line.
Fills it up for the 5th time from outside. Gliddon and Sobey dueling it out from outside.
Oh, that could be a tech.
It was a poor decision by Cam Oliver to throw the lob to Majuk Deng. A bounce pass will suffice, he'll still be able to dunk it. And then you compound that error by going down, letting Cam Gliddon tee off. And he's on fire right now, but Majuk Deng, 16 points, about to go over the line for a couple more. Not just this game, but he has been terrific in this new role for the Cairns Taipans all year.
Well, there are a lot of players that are probably on the list of most improved player, and you'd probably imagine that he would have been one of them if he didn't miss as many games as he missed. He missed a few in the middle of the year, and he's had probably the only downside, a little bit inconsistent compared to the improvements some of the players in this league have made this season.
Well, Matt Hodgson is now on 3 fouls, and we know that he's been fouled out in his last 4 games.
Well, he'll get there tonight.
Well, with Magnay out of the game, that becomes a bit of an issue for the Bullets.
It also means that the Bullets will be tiny at times tonight.
Yeah.
And Cam Oliver might just have an absolute feast on some of the small guys in the Bullets lineup.
Machado throws it away again. Patterson.
Good pass.
Singler rolls it. Needs a bit of help from Patterson, which he's only too happy to oblige.
Paddy's stats, you can't afford to go missing layups like that, though, when you're looking for a 34-point win. You've got to make the most of the bunnies. Good job, Lamar Patterson, following up. And Cam Gliddon just seems to be getting a hand on everything defensively.
He's got springs in the shoes tonight, that's for sure. And we sit at 23 points. Lamar on 8.
And you talked about going small. Mika Vakona coming into the game for Matt Hodgson, and this is the chance. They will switch everything. They will run random doubles.
Yeah, and Deng's got great length that you would expect to try to get it inside to Cam Oliver, wouldn't you?
Or outside. And now he penetrates. Doesn't drop.
And if he can get to that spot, there's nobody on the court for the Brisbane Bullets who can alter it at the moment. He's going to be able to get any shot he wants once he gets his feet inside the paint, whether it's on a face-up or a post catch. So going to him against, Mika Vakona, as great as he's been, isn't quite the defensive presence he was even last year. So a clear advantage to the Cairns Taipans here for the next few minutes.
Well, Brisbane have committed 4 fouls very early in this third quarter too. Well, how close do they need to be, do you think, at 3/4 time to the 34-point mark in their mind?
30.
That close?
Yeah, they're going to need to be close. They actually need Cairns, I think, to put the cue in the rack a little bit. The longer Cairns stick around. Make no mistake, Cairns are still thinking win. They're not thinking keep this thing under 30. That's just us. The Cairns Taipans, I feel, want to win this game to find out if they can dig themselves out of an extraordinarily deep hole and come up with a great road win.
Is there motivation for them to deny Brisbane?
Yeah, for sure, because you're knocking a team out of the playoffs as well. But I think the more important thing would be you're playing really good basketball. And you've done something. So say you're playing Perth in the second game of the finals and you're down 20.
You've got a point.
You can't put the cue in the rack there. And we've done it a couple of weeks ago. We can do it again.
Deng made the adjustments he needed to just.
Length at the rim, there's nobody who can, even if they were closer, there's no way that Brisbane can contest that right now.
Kadee thought about it, Gliddon. He did not think about it. Why would he? Instinctively take it and shoot for 3.
But the Bullets as a whole may not be able to do this every game of the year. But Cam Gliddon can certainly play with this freedom. We saw it at times over his career, and just he had that. He was so reserved for so long this year, but this is the Cam Gliddon we know.
Yeah, the point is he's good enough to be able to, and anyone who coaches Cam Gliddon, I don't think would think if any time he's got his feet set and he's lining up, this is big for Tarangi.
Oh my.
And probably why he hasn't played as many minutes as he should have this year. But if any to that point, if Cam Gliddon had have shot that ball before it got to Tarangi, everyone's happy.
The first time Cam Gliddon's got to 20 points this year. That's the 5th foul for Brisbane in this 3rd quarter. Six triples for Cam Gliddon. 6 out of 11 too.
Yeah, 11 of his 12 shots have been behind the three-point line, which is again speaks to the mindset coming into the game from both him and the Brisbane Bullets. But love to see him get another 7 or 8 up. If there's anyone shooting it on that Brisbane Bullets team early in the clock, you'd rather it be him and Sobey. As it ticks over a little bit, you're more than happy with Singler lining it up. You're a little bit happier, you're okay with Taylor Braun, but certainly Cam Gliddon is the best three-point shooter, and of course Jason Kadee. Once he comes into the game, we want to see him getting his feet behind the line. He's in the game now.
The Hungry Jacks chant. Jared Kenny spoils it for the crowd. Do you know who's given away the most this year, Pete, by the way?
Oh, I think there's a little graphic about it, so I don't want to give it away too much.
We've got to make sure that we do run that at some stage.
It's just an unselfish thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
To give the fans what they want and give some...
is it true that you gave away the most in a season, Pete?
Incorrect. That's Gazy running that.
Have you eaten the most since the time?
So they're not really making any progress here, Brisbane. It sits at 22. 4:40 remaining. 34 is the magic number. Dan fires away and misses.
So they're not making progress, but at the same time, they haven't let Cairns really chip into the lead. So there's going to be a scoring run in this game one way or another. Obviously, if Cairns make it, it could be game over. If Brisbane make it, they'll find themselves right around that 30-point mark where they need to be. And these are important free throws to get them on their way.
Well, they're plays you don't want to make, exactly right, when you know teams are going to be shooting, because if you're Brisbane and taking a deep contested three, you're going to live with that if you're the Cairns Taipans, because you know that's just what they're coming out to do. You don't want to compound that by fouling. Potentially, you could have given away a 4-point play, but now you give them a chance to go and get 3 from the line.
Okay. Force, Mika.
Sobey mentally rehearsing first. One down, and they all count on a night like this.
2 more, guys.
Well, he's a 93% free throw shooter on the season, so you're liking your chances. And again,
you're trying to make him.
Yeah, I shouldn't have done that, should have I?
They get to 80. And the margin creeps to 24. They did get it to 26 at one stage. It is going to be interesting, the role that fatigue. We've seen it already, but the role it plays as this game progresses. Sobey perfect again from the line.
It's going to be fatigue, and it's also going to be Andre Lamanis' ability to be able to put players in, A, who are fresh, but B, who can score the basketball. You can't afford to have a guy on the floor now that can't score. Lazy pass as Sobey intercepts it.
So obviously the New Zealand Breaker fans and team watching this with interest as well, as are Melbourne United. If they don't get the 34, it'll be out of United and the Breakers. Melbourne win tomorrow, and it's theirs. 4th position. Sobey floats it up. Can't score. Kenny on the charge. Still plenty of time on the shot clock. Gets scrappy for Newbill. Oh, that's a big 3.
I'll tell you, they'll take it, but they had Nate Juwai with Nathan Sobey guarding him that entire possession and did not even look.
Cuts the margin back to 22 points. Under where it was at quarter time.
It's a big 3. by Jared Kenny. But Mirko Jeric shoots that one 9 times out of 10, but good understanding of how this game's going, slow it down. And even though it got a little messy with Newbill nearly turning it over, gave Jared Kenny a good look at it and he knocked it down.
Well, one thing the last 17 minutes of basketball have probably really highlighted the importance of catching a team by surprise on the scout, because Cairns had no idea what was coming out for them in that first quarter, and Brisbane were incredible and got out to that big lead at quarter time. Since then, it's been played on even pass, so the Cairns Taipans have done a good job adjusting. They'll continue to get better, you would expect.
He's been in good three-point form of late when he has put them up, Kennedy, and he shows that again. And the margin remains, well, it remains just beyond 20. Loose ball was there to be won. Eventually it goes down on the friendly roll. Brisbane again nudged to 23. 3 minutes to go in this third. At an 8 this time.
Here he goes again.
Oh. Well, foul.
We heard it earlier, Chris, and we spoke about it. Brisbane Bullets are picking who they want to beat them.
Yeah.
DJ Newbill's taken 5 shots. They were face guarding him on the other side of the court. They're not letting him get it. Machado 0 of 1 from the field, has 5 free throws. Cam Oliver's got off a little bit. Majok Deng has been awesome for them, 20 and 7, but they have picked their poison. They do not want DJ Newbill or Scott Machado running the show as guards, and they've taken them off it.
You are absolutely spot on, and as Jared Kenny made those 2 in a row and then missed one badly, but you know, he's averaging 3.2 points per game. So for Brisbane, if they invite Jared Kenny to shoot the ball 10 or 15 times, I think that they feel the percentages will go in their favour.
For sure, and on that last play, they reversed it to him, and he just hit 2 in a row, and they still stunted to get back to DJ Newbill, because they know that DJ Newbill has a chance to get hot and get him back into this game. They're banking on that Jared Kenny won't be doing that. So, as you said, stick to their game plan right now. Newbill and Machado with 10 points between them.
21 points. Singler, Sobey. Oh, was in all the way.
Sure was.
Great arc from Nathan Sobey. He's up to 25 now, and it's at 24. Can they breach this sort of margin? Krislovic decides not to take the mid-ranger. Back out to Kenny. Feeding Newbill. Oh, he loses the handle.
And the other thing the Bullets can't afford to do, as they did in the last possession, is play a fantastic defensive possession and then bail the Cairns Taipans out by fouling. So that time again, you could see the hesitancy with Krislovic when he drove into the lane, wasn't quite sure what to do. Swung it back out, and another passive error by DJ Newbill, again, like you say, because he hasn't been as involved in this game as what he ordinarily is.
And on the flip side, Jared Kenny had a wide open look and turned it down because he just missed the one before. So all of their game plan is working right now.
I'd love to go on a little scoring streak right now, but that'll help.
That will help. You can see the passion from Nathan Sobey a few minutes ago. So it's out to 26 now. And +8 on the quarter. With just over 1 to go. Krislovic doesn't hesitate that time. Off the glass for an important 2 points. In the context of this one, Patterson trying to up the ante. Misses the pass. And that will be a Cairns ball.
So they've played the game dead on par since quarter time. The element of surprise got the Cairns Taipans in the first quarter, and since then it's been probably exactly how we thought it would be based on the season, that Cairns Taipans on the road against the Brisbane Bullets is a 50-50 game. So again, it still fascinates me as to what this fourth quarter is going to look like, because if it's a 23-24 point game, the Cairns Taipans still have to worry about their own finals and their own preparation and injury. The Brisbane Bullets have got the finals to make, so it's going to be fascinating.
Great anticipation from Patterson. He made the steal, and they make the 2 via Singler. And the pressure, the intensity is up once more. Kansas' reaction will be fascinating. Noi. No. No again. Fighting amongst themselves a little. It's a Brisbane ball with 1:12. Adrenaline pumping. Patterson to Sobey. He's been in sweet form.
Goodness.
He's backed it from the corner.
Doesn't matter which way. It's at 29 points. Kenny Krislovic goes down for three.
It's a big shot, but again, it's a shot that the Brisbane Bullets don't mind them taking. An early three by Krislovic. Good on him for making it.
Oh, Sobey tried to return.
It's interesting, Sobey, though, isn't it? He shot that one like he swished the last one. He banked it off the side of the glass, and he's lined up like he's on fire.
It's a great overhead pass, but let's have a look at it right here. Oh, it won't be the greatest angle there, but
just clipped the side.
But you talked about
Krislovic
saying a great knockdown, but you're right, that's the shot Brisbane wanting to take. If you're the Cairns Taipans, you saw the one before Kouat. You're trying to take the pace out of the game right now because Brisbane wants you to do that. Brisbane are banking on if you score two on one end, we're scoring three on the other right now.
So the guys scoring for the Cairns Taipans are Jared Kenny at 3 points a game and Krislovic at 2.5 points a game. So again, playing into the Brisbane Bullets' hands.
And the early three shot again taken. Oh, that was a little bit wild and woolly, but retrieved well by Gliddon. Around the perimeter they go. Kadee. Oops. Found Hodgson. Back out to Braun. Shot clock at 7. Gliddon. Tough from there. That's better. That's much better.
Good ball movement up that. And really important 8 seconds. They need a stop to finish this quarter on a high. We said they needed to be near 30.
They got to 29, but they're fouled.
They're fouled in the backcourt.
With 4.5 seconds.
The quicker you take shots of the Cairns Taipans, the Bullets are just shooting in the first 8 seconds. So they're getting way more shots up. They've had 70 field goals to 48 to Cairns.
Nate for three.
Goodness me.
That's not in the playbook, but what a dramatic Saturday night. Live, we've reached three-quarter time, and the advantage is 29, can you believe? There's the updated percentages. So New Zealand is 101.9, Brisbane as it stands 101.7, and of course Melbourne 102.4. So if they just get to 34 in front or around about that mark, they'll still need Melbourne to lose. But if the margin is into the 40s, then Melbourne could have a narrow win potentially, and Brisbane could still make it. But let's concentrate on first things first.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, as they knock another two in and they extend the lead out to 31, but Brisbane have shot the ball 72 times this game compared to Kansas 49, and wow, that's an incredible difference, been based on the fact they've forced Cairns into 22 turnovers and had 12 offensive rebounds themselves. So this bordering on manic style of basketball that the Brisbane Bullets are playing is working.
Well, we asked what this quarter going to be for Kouat. Good second effort for the Taipans. George Blagojevic starting the fourth quarter. So you wonder where Mike Kelly's head's at right now. We've discussed it the whole game. Do they want to keep bodies fresh? Because they're not bringing this game back to win in this last quarter.
We've spoken mostly about Brisbane, and rightly so, I think, during this game, because they're the ones absolutely playing for a final series. But Mike Kelly here has to start looking at week one of finals. He needs to make sure Machado doesn't get hurt. He needs to look after his imports, who logged more minutes than anyone in this league, almost as an import trio.
No team has scored this much at this point of time this year.
No, and to shoot the ball so early, they're just 72 shots in 3 quarters is incredibly high. Can they continue it for 9 more minutes?
9 minutes. It could well tell their season. And it'll be a matter of wait for tomorrow.
How hard do you think the New Zealand Breakers are barracking for the Cairns Taipans right now and hoping that they see Machado in and hoping that Newbull gets going? The one thing is, if Machado and Newbull do come in, one thing Mike Kelly does need to get from this fourth quarter is find out a way to get those two guys shots when the opposition team is certainly not allowing them to even catch the ball.
Kadee loaded up, but just couldn't execute on target. And it remains at 29. Crowd fully engaged, the pressure amped up a little more around the ball carrier, and it's telling. Kenny with the fumble, but survives. Just. That's down to 4. He takes them on. He ran into, there's a big stop sign there. Singler, man, a tough shot in the air. Kept alive by Vakonis. Singler gets set and shoots to score.
That's a massive three and a massive defensive possession down the other end as well. You saw them take the ball out of Mirko Jerik's hands. He's a guy who can score. Jared Kenny, beat us if you can.
Sobey having an extended rest at the start of this final quarter.
I don't think they'll extend it too long. I would be surprised if Sobey's not in the game in the next minute or two.
Well, we have a look at the replay here, but I believe coming to the bench is Anthony Fisher for the Cairns Taipans. So you've seen what Mike Kelly's doing in this last quarter, and I'm sure that Nathan Sobey will be coming back. They will try and run this score up as much, because then it does come into what happens if the Melbourne United win by certain amounts. So Statman's all over that.
I'm not sure the New Zealand Breakers are that pleased to hear that Anthony Fisher's coming into the game. Nothing against Anthony Fisher, but if that's the mindset...
They would have preferred Scott Machado check back in, no doubt, as a New Zealand Breaker fan.
They've racked up a couple of early fouls here. 3, in fact, Brisbane now.
Well, this is Kouat Noy's chance. We talk about he's been out for so many games. He's trying to find his feet back. He's got to be the leader of this team right now and try and find some form himself.
Oh, he misses the first, and the crowd is still hungry. What's it like with the crowd screaming out hungry at Jack's Pete?
Not great in Brisbane from my memory, for personal, but you had Mick having a little chat to him right there. It's a little veteran move, but...
Nice little find underneath. Kadee gleefully accepts, puts up the 2.
And the lead creeps to 32. They're within a basket of where they need to be, and it looks to me that the Cairns Taipans aren't going to play Machado, and they're not going to probably bring Newell back. They just can't afford for these role players to make the most of their opportunity and get going.
They can't afford to think it's just going to happen. I'm sure they don't think that, but yes,
good take.
A wound-up singler puts it down with the answer. This last quarter could prove to be anything.
Well, they've stopped the 3-pointers the last couple of times down the floor, but when you just turn sideways and let them get to the rack, it's all too easy. So you look at Brisbane, they're everywhere right now. They're trapping everything. That's a great pass.
And Gliddon is fouled, and that's 4 already committed in this quarter. And 1 point away from where they need to be in terms of the lead.
I'll tell you what, there wasn't a lot in that. He did a good job of making a play of the ball and got a lot of the ball. Probably looked a little bit messier than what it was, but certainly no easy baskets for the Taipans. If you're the Brisbane Bullets, they're going to make them earn it from the stripe.
An extended time, 13 minutes, and that is his new career high is 12 points. And the margin is back at 31 with 6:49 on the clock. Sobey's out on the floor. Patterson is bouncing up for the 3. He doesn't get it. You can see the push ball was there. Kadee.
It's going to be fascinating as well, because the other thing that happens when the bench crew comes out for the Taipans, there are going to be better looks on the rim. Against that starting group for the Cairns Taipans, the necessity to shoot that early 3 ball is clear. But now you might not have to take so many early 3s, because I think you can get really high percentage shots against this defensive lineup that the Taipans have got on the floor.
Well, that's a great push by Mirko Jeric. Great little bounce pass and really strong finish by Blagodjevic there. And we talk about it. This is a great opportunity for these young guys to come in from Cairns and just take this opportunity, run with it.
Talking about taking your opportunity, this is an unbelievable opportunity with thanks to Latrobe Financial. All you've got to do is enter by SMSing your name, date of birth and email address, and you get a chance to potentially win $10,000 for a half-court shot during the finals. How good is that?
It is absolutely fantastic. Can I enter? I work for Latrobe Financial. Am I allowed to enter that one? It's a fantastic prize.
You're banned. I've made sure that in the terms and conditions you're banned. This is coming up. Well, it's going to be interesting to see, even though Perth are finals bound, what their attitude's going to be tonight, and who knows for Joey Wright.
Well, no Tariko White, no Bryce Cotton, and possibly Joey Wright's last game in the NBL. There's a lot on the line here as well. Nothing to do with the ladder, but certainly a lot of emotion for the Adelaide 36ers and Joey Wright, and for the Perth Wildcats. They'll see what they get from the bench. They'll see how some of their role players do with an extended opportunity.
It's elite company, isn't it, for Joey Wright that he's joining?
Oh, it's been phenomenal, and I think that game is going to be huge for guys like Daniel Johnson, Jerome Randa, who know Joey so well, have that connection. But I'm looking forward to seeing how Miles Plumlee goes in a game like this, and they want to try and get him a bit more involved, knowing that they're going to have time.
Johnson, Andrew Bogut, isn't it? DJ's the guy who looks to score the ball a bunch. Bogut's the one who's going to put rim presence past the ball and be a lot more physical. So I agree with you. A really interesting game for Plumlee, and one for Lamar Patterson. He's timely.
Well, the margin got back under 30, but it's back over now, and potential to go to 32.
And they're the sort of shots I think the Bullets can get now that they may not have been able to get so easily in the first 3 quarters. So there's a decision to be made now. Do they continue to fire away from the 3-point line and take shots that they can get against anyone, or do they work the ball inside a little bit more on dribble penetration, kick it out and find your 3 a few seconds later on?
Lamar Patterson in the running for the Andrew Gaze MVP, the awards night. Don't forget SBS on demand from 8:30 p.m. local. That is tomorrow night. Fisher can't land the 3, and Hodgson sends another one away.
Big block. And the other thing that happens with a bench lineup is they're probably going to move the ball and have longer possession. So Brisbane certainly can't afford to give up any second chance opportunities like they just did there. They need the ball in their hands. They need to be shooting it and grow this lead.
Single figures is the shot clock, so it'll have to go up soon. It does. Doesn't go down. Good fight, but Sobey has the ball. Patterson almost got away from him. Kadee waiting in the corner. In the end, the shot goes up. Oh! And it got away from Matty Hodgson.
Might have missed Jason Kadee in the corner, and a wide open 3 there. Lamar Patterson shot a contested one. Good job of getting the ball inside the paint, finding the rim.
I suspect there'll be a lot of players looking up at the board from this last 5 or 6 minutes and just trying to do their own math.
Yeah, and almost...
What are basketball players like with the maths?
Well, you don't necessarily have to.
We count in 2s and 3s.
When it's already this margin, you don't really have to get down to that. You just got to be putting points on every possession down the floor. Try and get as many stops, and then just get as many opportunities as you can to run this score up.
Pressure was too great, and now Sobey with an opportunity to get it to 34. Or maybe even beyond, as Kadee backs out initially and then drives on Kusovic, goes back outside again. Still time in the set. 6 seconds to go. Sobey, yes!
And there's your 34 points. They're there. Can they win the last 5 minutes? Sends them to the line. Not what you want to do early in the shot clock or any time. If there's ever a time that a home fan base wanted to win some Hungry Jacks, it'd be now, wouldn't it? Wouldn't mind missing 2 free throws here.
Cam Gliddon is coming back out on court.
Nathan Sobey's been terrific. 30 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and they're bringing in Cam Gliddon, who's also been terrific. 23 points, 7 of 12 from downtown.
No chance. Oh, he's going to hand over the burgers this time. He rolls in a second. It's back under at 32. Patterson takes it back to 34. And it's 4:50 to go in this season. He's coming down to the last 5 minutes. And then it'll be a wait for tomorrow if they can get the job done. And our OMG moment, or moments, thanks to MG.
Well, I think we've seen some phenomenal dunks in this incredible season. A couple of adjectives for you, but that, I think, is dunk of the year because of how good of a shot blocker Will Magnay's been. Cam Oliver just went right up and into him. That was incredible.
Well, imagine this, a dream court, build your own custom court with thanks to Dream Courts. You can get a quote now, nbl.com.au/Dream Courts. Is that what you had growing up, Chris?
Absolutely not. I had a little white line painted on the brick wall in my two-car carport, and I used to hit a tennis ball against it for hours on end. It was the furthest thing from a dream court you could possibly imagine.
It looks absolutely sensational. Right now, the dream is alive for Brisbane. They are sitting right on the margin they need to win this game by, which would eliminate the New Zealand Breakers, and then it would be a matter of whether Melbourne United can beat the Phoenix tomorrow. Nathan Sobey, who so narrowly missed out on finals last year.
Coming into this game, Pete, did you really think that they were a chance to do this? I certainly didn't give them a chance to be up 34 with 4 minutes 50 to go in the
No,
game.
absolutely not. And if you're sitting there and saying, I thought, yes, they were going to come out like this, you're lying. Because this has been a tremendous effort from start to finish for these Bullets.
Kosovic trying to get into his move. Comes up short.
And that's Cam's ball from memory. Possession arrow will go to Cairns. It's going to come down to small moments, isn't it? It's just like a tied ball game for the Brisbane Bullets.
Well, it is. It's exactly that. .02 ahead as it stands.
As you see, Melbourne United still have that little buffer as well, but that game tomorrow is going to be huge if they can get this, which the rate they're going.
That looks just off the mark. Hodgson gets fouled. And he'll go to the line. He's not necessarily the best from there.
So we may not have the graphic, and we're running out of time, Pete. But Matty Hodgson has given away more burgers, you've told me, this season than anyone else in the league.
That's what I've been told that he has. It's been 5 so far this year, the big fella. But you can't give him away when you're at home. But take nothing away from that. He's got 9 points, 9 rebounds tonight. He's been excellent in the last couple of weeks.
Very, very important free throw here.
Oh, he is willing this one to go down. And it doesn't. But it's still a Brisbane ball. And it's travel. Wow. I wonder how big that call may be when all is said and done. They're right on the mark with 4:16 to go. Every single action matters from here. If you're a Bullets fan, if you're a Breakers fan.
Good defense so far.
Back out the top, Fisher. That's a big bomb.
That's a massive shot. Not so much for the Cairns Taipans, but the Brisbane Bullets. Great defensive possession and a long contested 2 by Fisher to cut the margin back to 32.
And that puts them out of the 4. Brisbane are out of the 4. They're still out of the 4.
Well, it's a great shot by Anthony Fisher. The only bad thing is take a little step back and earn the extra
Knock down the 3, you think?
They're the best shots to take. You can't get in trouble for shooting a late shot clock heave, and that's a great knockdown. What an exciting 3.5 minutes we've got here.
That one down there, 2 or 3. It's only 2. She only signaled 2. She signaled 2.
Confirming that it was signal 2. 13 seconds. Gliddon takes the mid-range. He's not used to shooting from so close. And it doesn't go down. And all of a sudden with 3:30, it's not looking quite as good. He's set again. And, oh, it falls for Brisbane. Singler with a quick pass. Braun.
Massive.
And 1. They're back in. They're back in. They were in. They were out. They're back in.
The bounce of the basketball down the other end that you looked for all likelihood that they'd come up with an offensive board. Just a Brisbane Bullet hand knocked it out, knocked it loose. They got on the break, and Taylor Braun finishes and is going to go to the free throw line to put them up 35.
Well, here's my question to you. If you're Mike Kelly, if you're a coach right now, are you saying that's the right shot to take down the other end if you're a Cairns Taipans? A quick, wide-open 3. Because the Bullets want you to shoot that right now, and they'll be doing it all game. They're taking the quick ones. Or are you trying to slow down the game?
I don't really think Mike Kelly cares at this extent who comes forth, because they're not going to play them first round. So unless Mike Kelly had any reason for Brisbane to be out, I think all he's worried about is him and getting his players the right kind of reps.
What about Nathan Sobey? We said how much it would mean to him, and as a leader, he can really step up along with Patterson and take them into at least the chance to play in the final.
This is kind of the game that Nathan Sobey loves. He plays loose and he plays free, and he can do it without any consequences in this game. You've seen some of the shots that he's taken. He's taken contested threes, he's taken pull-up transition threes, but he does that when his team's rolling. He's an energy-type player, and he can even get a little lucky off the side of the backboard.
And you know what? He's great in the open floor. He's great going downhill at the rim. He shoots the ball really well. Probably the area that he continues to develop is his organisation of the team from the point guard spot. So the style of play that the Brisbane Bullets have rolled out tonight suits Nathan Sobey down to a T, and his 30 points reflect that.
It's equal season high for Nathan Sobey. 3 minutes and 19 seconds. And they lead by 34, which is what they need to be ahead of New Zealand. And for about 16 hours or so at least ahead of Melbourne. So Braun. Can't complete his play, and it's still 34.
So 3 missed free throws in a row for the Bullets. Could come back to haunt them.
Foul is called. To the line.
And a pretty good free throw shooter too. Shoots them at 73% on the season. Hasn't got there too often, but pretty reliable free throw shooter.
And down the first one goes. And they're back outside the 4.
I'll tell you what, I thought you couldn't possibly have given him the curse this late in a game like this, could you?
Clockwork.
Both made. And so it's 32 again with 3 minutes remaining. Have you ever seen such a tense 30-point match? Patterson winding his way through, but doesn't get out the other side. Oh, by George! Another 2 goes down, and it's 30 points. And the New Zealand Breakers, suddenly things have swung back their way.
2 great defensive plays by Kouat Noi there, both on Lamar Patterson. And then Blagojevic on the other end as well. Big credit to Noi there.
So sensing a big moment here.
Just a little bit, not quite sure about the last 3 decisions the Bullets have made. Time, it sounds crazy, but time's been on their side for the last few minutes. They've been rushed.
Yeah, for the first time in the match it has. Instead, it's all at the other end. Krislovic fights, and fights the good fight. Suddenly it means a bit to these guys who don't see too much court time. And they're relishing the opportunity.
They need a good one here. They need a good look at the rim.
Big stop there for Brisbane. Into the last 2 minutes. It's 30 points. It's got to be 34.
Wide open.
Gliddon. Oh, they held their breath.
You know, they've got to get on the glass too. You can't just watch a shot go up and not pursue it.
100% right. If you're Lamanis right now, you're telling your team, in your mind, you're down 4.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's all. You're only down 4 points in this season, really.
Yeah, and timeout got to be coming if Cairns score here. Which sounds crazy up 30, but timeout.
Charge called. A big call.
You'd almost call timeout again maybe and reset, get a good one. Lamanis is one of the best in the league at after timeout execution and scoring. Might be a good time to call a timeout and get them a little bit organised. Get the shot you want one time and get it back out to 32, 33 perhaps.
As the timeout takes place, let's have a look at one of the other stars of the night, Cam Gliddon. They needed firepower from outside, and he's delivered, shooting at 50%, 7 triples on the night.
Well, he's just played loose and he's played free. That's the Cam Gliddon we're used to seeing. And to be honest, even those wide open ones on kickouts, he turned down at the start of the year.
Right.
With all the talk that was going on around him that he was out of form, he wasn't taking those. He was second-guessing them, which is not the Cam Gliddon we know. And credit to him, he's come out, let him fly tonight. He's been excellent.
So What's the strategy, you think, here from Andre Lamar? You said 4 points to make up.
Well, I think we're looking at it. It's probably get Cam Gliddon a good look. If not, it's got to be, you know, I would imagine the scorers come out. Patterson, Sobey, Gliddon, Cadee. Those 4 guys have to be on the floor, so you've got scoring avenues everywhere. You'd probably keep Hodgie out in case he gets fouled and goes to the free throw line. So it might be a Taylor Braun where they go small. They might end up playing the foul game up 30 to try to put Cams on the line as this thing ticks over.
Here the 3x3 Hustle. Go to 3x3hustle.com for the March Mania. Get involved. And it'll be all over the place. It's going to be a whole heap of fun. But right now, Brisbane need to make good. Patterson.
I'll take that. Not much time more off the clock, and Lamar Patterson gets to the line for 2. Well drawn up.
And of course, the tension around the TVs in New Zealand would be, I reckon they almost would have given up probably about 8 or 9 minutes ago. But right now, who would you rather be with, the Breakers or the Bullets?
I think I'd rather be with the Bullets because the fate's in their hands. I always like to have some control over your own destiny, and right now that's what the Bullets have.
Both teams in the bonus. At last. Free throw goes down. And it comes from Patterson. And it closes to 32. With a minute 25 remaining.
It's the old stop and a score. Can you get a stop? Can you get a score? Without fouling, too, they've got to keep the Taipans off the line.
Derek. He's able to penetrate, kick it out to Kenny. Takes the mid-range and needed some help. Loose ball, Brisbane ball. Cadee to Sobey. Nathan Sobey delivered it back to Cadee. They're back in the 4. There's 57 precious seconds to go. They're back in. Crowd on their feet. Their season comes down to a minute of madness.
Oh my God!
What a shot! That's
it
great
went every
defense.
which way and it went down. They're back out again. Can you believe it? Cadee, which way is this going?
Oh, you couldn't possibly, could you?
Going to the line.
There's plenty of time left.
I think they're going to look if this is going to be upgraded for pulling him down after the foul.
Critical call if it is. Oh.
But I think that was part of the original foul. Getting locked up right there. He was not even looking at him.
You'd be unlucky to get called for an unsportsmanlike. I'll tell you what, the Bullets are hoping.
Oh, we've talked about it all year. It's just been such a wonderful season. Of course, we won't know until tomorrow with Melbourne United in action. As it stands right now, New Zealand are in the 4.
Foul, 9.
Yep, good call.
And even though it kind of looked like he dragged him down, it was in the original foul where they got tangled up, and as Blagojevich was falling, it looked like he was pulling him down.
Cadee went to shoot through his armbar and they got a little bit tangled up. That's a good choice. Important free throw.
Weirdly enough, this is to tie this. No, to win the season.
When's the last time you've looked at a 33-point ball game and seen all of the starters on the floor for the team that's winning?
Not only that, but I think you're exactly right that we may see some fouls to send them to it if it gets down to it.
Oh, he stands up in the moment. Jason Cadee makes both free throws and then sits down to the applause of every man, woman and child here.
Now, here's the possession, I think, if you're the Bullets. This is the one you want to play straight up. You don't want to give away an easy one.
So right now they're in. Brisbane are in right now and the Breakers are out. 34 points is the magic number. Fisher floats it.
Charge.
Ball.
they can run this out for one shot to be safe and shoot it at the end. The Taipans aren't in a foul game right now. There's no reason.
So they're up there. So
There's
they're
no
in.
reason.
They're in right now.
We think they're in.
No, they're in.
They're in.
Right. Well, yeah, you're right. We think they're in.
This
So
is
if they're
coming
in,
down to decimal
If they're in,
points.
you can take a shot clock violation.
But there's no, you don't want to, you can of course, but then you give the ball back for 0.6. I would be shooting this thing right at the end because there's no need for the Taipans to foul, but it looks, I mean, they're
Well,
up
if you
the
shoot
floor.
this with exactly 1 second to go,
Right.
it'll come off the rim or whatever, and you'll be fine.
Just hold it.
They're looking to hold.
But you've still got to shoot it
You
at
just
the end.
shoot it, it
Make
doesn't
sure,
have to go in.
win it by 36 or 37. Make sure.
Yeah, true.
And this is your matchup.
Sobe, one last shot.
There it is.
It doesn't go down.
Well, you've got one of the best free throw shooters going to the line.
So now, it's still interesting. Let's say Cam Gliddon makes 2 here.
And they
I
lost.
would foul to make sure that
Well,
you give Cairns no opportunity of shooting a 3, and as long as it's not unsportsmanlike.
That's the big one. You say it like that, and if it goes there, that's the worst possible
Foul with
scenario.
your chest in the backcourt. Don't let the Taipans get anywhere near the 3-point line.
Well, have you ever seen a situation like this? Surely Cairns don't run it down and try and score. You can't win the game.
Right,
But
or-
they know what's happening.
Or, of course, miss this one. And oh, geez, it's so...
Oh, man.
So it's 35 at the moment. They needed to get to 34. It's 36 with nerves of steel. 4.8 seconds.
What are they going to do?
Only a 3-pointer now.
Final,
They've
shoot it
turned it
anyway.
over.
Make sure of it.
What a night! And Brisbane's season is still alive.
My
They've
goodness.
come with a bullet. They needed a